Hi, it's Esther here from the Speak More Clearly accent reduction courses. Great to see you here. I'm going to go through 4 accent reduction tips that will make a difference to your clear English speech. Tip 1 is a tip to help you pronounce the th sound more easily. Well, actually, I'm going to give you 2 tips here. First, you need to hold your tongue out between your teeth long enough. Most people who are learning the th sound tend to pull the tongue back into their mouth too quickly in an effort to get to the next sound. For example, they may say think. You need to give the th its full worth and let enough air out first over your tongue before you move to the next sound. So it's think, not think. Think. I think so. It's not through, it's through. Can you hear I'm leaving enough air in there? Through. Go through there. It's not thank, it's thank. Thank. Secondly, as you hold your tongue out between your top and bottom teeth, you also need to consciously make it a bit flat or wider. This makes it easier to send the air out over your tongue so it sounds like a proper th sound. You may need to just stick your tongue out between your teeth at first without making a sound and practice making the front of your tongue flat or wide like this instead of. You could do this in front of a mirror at first to help you get the positioning and the feel of it. Now, tip 2 is about using the dark L sound to make it easier to speak more quickly. L. The light L, the one up behind the front top teeth, is mostly used at the beginning of words or when the L has a vowel before and after it, and it's also used in some common endings such as ly. For example, look, follow, quickly. The dark L is mostly used when there is a consonant before or after the L and when the L comes at the end of a word. When you use a dark L in these instances, it makes it easier to get from one sound to the other in a word and to sound more natural. For example, in the word almost, we don't say almost, we say almost. It's as if you're saying a short O sound and then quickly and lightly make the front L sound, ul. He almost dropped it. Don't overdo the short R, but say it quickly and move to the ul. Another example is felt. It's not felt, but felt. He felt very well. An example of the dark L at the end of words is the word fell. We don't say fell, we say he fell. We don't say hall, but hall. Go down the hall. Tip 3 is to be patient and persistent with yourself. Some of our students have emailed me to say they have used my accent reduction course for a couple of weeks and haven't gained a complete English accent yet. Your mental attitude is important. Of course, it takes time to acquire a new accent. You need to be patient with yourself and persistent, and notice the gains you are making along the way with your practice. You didn't learn to speak your mother tongue in a matter of weeks. Work on 1 or 2 speech elements at a time, and when you have consolidated them into your everyday speech, then move on to practice something else. Otherwise, nothing becomes automatic. After all, your mouth needs to learn to move in a different way from the way it usually moves. Now, this last tip is about how to make your new English pronunciation automatic, because after all, that's the goal. Follow these tips and they will make all the difference. First one, write out a list of sentences that you have to use often at work or socially, and use those to practice, especially if there are words you always find difficult to say or longer words that are difficult. Break down the difficult words into sections and say them slowly for a few days. Then put them together and say the word over and over to help your mouth coordinate itself for the correct movements. The next thing is write out dialogues and conversations that you often use at work, maybe with customers or in meetings or on the phone, and practice those. Practice every day for 2 to 3 weeks or until you are happy with how you sound when you listen to yourself after you've recorded yourself saying them. And don't forget to practice saying your name if it's a name that isn't common for the country that you're living in. The trick here is to say it slower. And also practice the name of your work or your company. Now the last bit is take a book, newspaper or magazine and read aloud to yourself every day for a few minutes. And focus on saying what you are working on correctly whenever it comes up in the text. I hope you have found these tips helpful. For more information on how you too can speak more clearly in English, click on the button below.